My name is Esteban Hernandez Estrada. So we got the two last names, right?
Yes.
And I'm from Colombia. I'm born in Medellin, Colombia, in a difficult time for Medellin. So I got a lot of security problems, for the drug dealers. And that was a hard time for me when I was a kid. Um, so I started Kendo when no, sorry, not Kendo, martial arts. I started with Hapkido when I was 7 years old. And during that time, I think it's just like, do something. And it was this like program for the school, and they introduced martial arts. And I was like, oh, I want to do martial arts. And then I went there and I practiced for some days. And then my brother and me used to fight a lot. And one day we were fighting, and my mom came out, and I was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And then my brother was like, "Yeah, And then she said, "Okay, nah, that's it. You're not gonna practice martial arts anymore." And we're like, "Oh no!" So I was a kid. The master over there, it was a lady. She was so strict, so hard practice. And then I was always, like facing the wall, doing the number 4 because something. So that time I stopped for a little bit. So I practiced over there like one year, maybe 1 or 2 years. I'm not sure. And then so my mom say we cannot practice this anymore because we fight a lot. And so I started playing hockey. And then I changed school. But that was, I think, fourth grade, I think. And this new school, they have a martial art program, but the program was for like really serious program. Like you can pick. You don't do like a physical education like normal. You pick a sport, kind of like a sport club from Japan or other schools. But so you pick, and I picked judo. It was judo there, and they also teach Japanese at the school. So okay, this is good. And I was training judo for a while, but I was a problem kid for not for like a problem kid, but bad character. Like if you bully me, I'll fight right away. Just not like oh no fight. No, I was like okay. And so that was kind of a problem, right, for a kid. I was coming from a Catholic school, so it was kind of bullying target, So I was very little. I was the shortest one at the class, and I was, my hair was looking. My mom was like, it was a Catholic school, so Catholic school you gotta go like very good boy, right? And so that was kind of bullying guys, bullying guys target because how I look. And so first day of school, I sit down. I didn't know anybody. I just wanna, no problem at school. And this group of boys, they came and they were start bullying, and I start fighting. I started hitting them, and bam, bam, bam. And then the teacher come, and then when she came, she said, "What are you doing this first day of school?" So I gotta go to the director, and so I explained, I was doing anything. I was there. I don't know anybody. I'm not gonna come first day to fight, right? But I don't want to let anybody to do that to me. So I don't know. It's up to you. It's cool. I'm here. But if that happened again, I'll do it again. And so I gotta go to the I call it the psychological attention. I don't know how you call it, but anyway. So I went there. I didn't like it, so I just left. And I went back to the classroom. So that was happened in that time. So after that, this my sensei of the judo. So I just focused on judo. I was training judo a lot. I was going to championships, and I was doing kind of okay, you know. And during this national, I injured my neck, so I had to stop judo for a while. And during that time, I think it was maybe, I don't know how many years I practiced judo, but then I think it was 14 or 13 years old maybe. And so I asked I don't know, I got this school homework. I gotta do this homework in the for the philosophy class. The philosophy class, and they say you have to do a report about philosophy, but any kind, you know. And I asked, well, can I do it by Budo? Because I was doing judo. So, and this teacher said, yes, of course, you can do it. And I found the samurai culture. I really like history, so I got a lot of history about knights and mostly European warriors, because my dad, I got that from my dad. He likes a lot history and European history. So I really like that too. So I was doing that, reading and researching. And when I found this homework, I started doing like Budo. And I was like, okay, but this is any martial arts from the beginning, from India, from then China, then everything. And I found this samurai. The samurai was so good. So I was like, oh, I like kind of this, cultural thing about Japan. And I found these guys were like an armor and gi and a hakama. I didn't know what was that, right? I was doing judo gi, right? For me, it was judo and karate, and that's it. But then I found this. I was like, oh man, I want to practice this. And it was no kendo. And I remember a trip. I think it was before this. It was a trip. We went to Cartagena, and there is a historical path over there. And it was this store for kind of like medieval, shields, swords, and stuff. But it was everything from European, because the Spaniards came here, right? And it was a katana right there, and I was, oh, I want that one. I wanna. I didn't know from Japan or from where. I was like, okay, this looks cool, right? And the guy is like, oh, but this is Excalibur. You know Excalibur? I was like, yeah, I know that, but I want that one. and my parents were like, why? I mean, where's that? Where did you see it? And so I didn't get my katana that time. So so back the day, I was there doing my homework about Budo, and I found this somewhere. I asked my sensei, so sensei, where's this? And then he said, oh, that's Kendo. That's Kendo. So can I find a dojo here? And he's like, oh, let me ask the martial art community. I know everybody over there. And it was no Kendo in Colombia. But a few people, they were trying to practice. Mostly like senseis from different martial arts. And I was nobody. I was like, I think, green belt from judo. So I was just a kid who wants to practice. And then it was 2000, the year 2000, year 2000. The Hapkido League, they invite this sensei, Arthur Murakami sensei. He was president of all United States Kendo Federation. And then he came here, and then he did a seminar. So I asked my parents, so I wanna practice it. I wanna participate at that seminar. And it was kind of expensive that time. And my parents were like, you know what is that? I was like, no. So why do you want to go? I just like it, you know. And they, oh, that's too expensive for something that you don't know what it is. So I couldn't practice. I went 2 days and they asked for me to pay. And I didn't have the money, so I had to quit. So I said, okay, bye-bye. So I couldn't practice. So for my Christmas, I asked my parents for a bogu. So, you know, the armor for Kendo. So like, you didn't even practice Kendo. Why do you want that? So I didn't get my bogu, of course, but I got my chinai and a bokken. So I got sword. I got something to practice, and I started practicing from books. I remember this book. It was pretty bad. I mean, for me, because it's a right foot in front, the left foot behind the right foot, and your toe will be at the level of the heel. So I didn't know it was at the same line or separate. It didn't say. So I no pictures of Kendo that time. So I was like, oh man, hard to find a book. Just reading. So I started practicing everything at the same. After that, I'm sorry. You wanna like direct something else? Or
no, yeah, just go in according to time. I think that's a good way. You've a lot of interesting stories already, I thought. But just a quick clarification. When you're doing this practice of Kendo, because there's no dojo, were you doing it just at home, outside, or at the judo dojo?
I was doing everywhere I can. Like at home, I was trying to do the ashwaki. Of course, everything was wrong, but I was trying to do it. And at the judo dojo, they got some kata with bokken. So like, oh, we practice sometimes with bokken, but I don't think it's the same. And okay, I just want to learn something. And so I found this Aikido dojo. I thought it was Aikido. Aikido looks like Kendo. You know, for me, it was like, oh, it's the same. You know, it looks same. So I went to Aikido dojo and I found they didn't use the bokken all the time. So, oh, maybe it's not this. Like I practiced like 2 days also. And but one day, one of my friends, he used to practice judo and aikido, and he said like, oh, we were talking to find a sensei for kendo, and I know because you talk about kendo all the time, you want to practice kendo. So what about if you join us, and then we start looking for sensei outside Colombia, and then we start looking for sensei outside Colombia. So we tried to contact Murakami sensei again. And then he said he cannot go Colombia. It's not safe. And so we contacted Mexico and also some other countries. And from Venezuela is Hector Fuenmayor Sensei. And Hector Fuenmayor Sensei, he was president of the Venezuelan Kendo Federation. And he also was one of the students of Ebihara Sensei from the Ken Zen Institute in New York. And he's like, okay, I can go. I mean, I'll go. And he came. And it's like, oh, show me your kendo. So he asked everybody, so show your kendo. So to see like the level. So I said, okay, we're gonna start from the beginning, from the very, very beginning, because you don't know anything. You're doing everything wrong. So we start, and I would say we start kendo that time, you know, like that was already like a real the first day, because I start before 2000 trying to do something, doing everything wrong. But then that was real for me to have a real seminar to start, right? And we practice, and after 1 week or 2 weeks of kendo, and I got the bogu for that. I have a reason for ask my parents, like really now this is something. So I think I was the only one with Bogu. Maybe another. Yeah, I think I was the only one because I started university, I think, and then he called me. So, oh, you're the only one with Bogu, so you have to be here. And I was celebrating with my friends. So I gotta stop the celebration and run. And then my mom brought my Bogu. I was like, you have to wear this. He was so worried because he needs you for the seminar. So that was hard practice for me because, when you have a seminar, everybody's beginner and you don't know how to wear Bogu properly. So you don't put the tenugui extra here when you got the beginners that hit so hard. And then when you have weak beginners, that's okay. They hit hard, but it's not that hard. But when you have karate sensei, judo sensei, and like pretty much a lot of sensei, very strong people, and then you're the only one who's gonna get hit, it's not good. It's not funny, So they were hitting so hard. I was like, oh, and the kote hurts a lot. But then, I was there. I was happy anyway. It hurts, but I was happy. And then he said, for the next seminar, next year, I'll bring my sensei. And then we will see. So for the next year, we had organized for security. So we put, bodyguards for the sensei. And then we talked to the embassy, Japanese embassy, United States embassy, like we're gonna bring somebody, and then we have to, be sure that nothing is gonna happen. Nobody's gonna do something to this person. And they pay for the bodyguards, and they put police and everything, and it was interesting. It was very interesting.
So I never realized it was really that bad in Colombia, that like a visitor, you have to have so much precaution just to keep them safe.
Well, like this is a sad thing, but we were the most dangerous city in the world that time, right? Not now we are like the best. How they call that? And we won a prize for innovation city. I don't know why, but
I've read something about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So city has been changing a lot, but for that time nothing happens, not even close. But we want to be sure because we want to do this seriously, and then if something happens, it's gonna be over forever. So. So he was like, "Whoa, what is this? All these people, with guns around me." I was like, "Oh, we want you to be safe." So, okay.
I have one question around that though. Being like, so much of what we do, whether it's sports or in this case martial arts, are affected by the society that we're living in. I'm just wondering if that was a dangerous place. Was martial arts more geared towards self-defense? Like, did you see a lot more practical uses even with the traditional martial arts, or did everything just kind of seem traditional in the way that they were meant to be?
Well, let me talk about when I was a kid. It was very scary. You don't cross the street. You don't go to the park because something is gonna happen. And then even that we play a lot around, but always big group of, like a pack, for me, and then that time, I was wondering all the time why people with power or people with more abilities always abuse of that. So for me, I think that was one of the points. Like when I was thinking about that, maybe that was my start for doing martial arts, because I was thinking, why people cannot be strong and good, and So I realized I need to be stronger and also being good. And if somebody needs help, I can help. And so I think that was one of the reasons I was training a lot, and I sacrificed a lot of things that most people do, and I was just training. but the thing, I think, like for self defense in Colombia at that time, it was, I don't know. I know about so many people who work did some self defense and they worked and then helped, and then they are alive or maybe they almost die. But then here it was pretty dangerous. Not like when you're in Japan or you're I don't know, even in the States, some states from the States, but um, so you fight, you can fight and you can defend yourself, and but then here's pretty much if you defend yourself, you're gonna get killed, and because they don't catch your stuff and run, they put your gun in your head and they just kind, like give me all the stuff. And so at that time was pretty scary. I mean, I can tell you many histories about that when I was a kid, but then so we don't go fight against those kind of guys. So, but we fought a lot. I fought a lot at school, my home, on streets, at the football game. I used to go a lot and also fought over there. I was fighting everywhere, and so I don't think that's good. So so I think after when I was, maybe I practiced karate and judo at the same time. I did more judo than karate, but then it was everything about fighting. And so of course sensei always say like don't use this for self-defense. But then when there's a group of guys coming, you think in self-defense, but you think in how you just manage this and then control the situation and then make them think about it the next time, right? And so, but we were kids, so that's not the time. And then, but for Kendo, there's a great thing about Kendo. It is you learn about yourself, you learn about how to react, but you don't got the chance of hitting people with like a outside dojo, because an inside dojo you don't need to. I can say this. I mean, you can go through, you can go full power, you can go 100% or more because they're wearing bogu. So that's like I can just do my best. And then one of the things is I think it was 2001. First Kendo video I saw. I remember. I think it was Hector Sensei brought it from his home, or maybe Imani Sensei sent it from Seattle. I'm not sure, but then I think I have it around here. But this is 2000 VHS 2001 All Japan Kendo Championship. First Kendo video. So I was like, oh, wow. I was so surprised because the energy was so strong. Like they were like, yeah, bang. And I remember I was watching I think the final was Eigan Aoki versus Miyazaki Masahiro. And he was so intense. And this is what I was looking for. And so I stopped judo, I stopped karate, and also I was training kung fu. And so I stopped everything to practice Kendo. I mean, it's not like I don't like the others martial arts, but there was a lot of things to do, and then not much time. And I got my money was not my money; it was my parents' money. So I cannot just be spending money everywhere. And So that was the beginning of this. When Ibihara Sensei came, it was we sent many mails, and one of my friends, Patricia, she sent an email to this dojo in Seattle, Washington, and he was Imanishi Sensei there, and he was like, "Oh, we just opened the website, and this is the first message we got." So he was so happy, and she invited him to come here, and then he was the second time. So Hector Sensei came from Venezuela, and then Ebihara Sensei came. He's Hector Sensei. So, and then we invite Imani Sensei, and then he came too. He was so happy, and then we spent a whole week of Kendo, like 6 hours a day, or I don't know how many, maybe more. And that was a good experience for me. Those kind of like a real, now before it was like beginner practice. This one was like a real Kendo practice. And then we put bogu, we have more bogu over there. And then Hector Sensei brought some bogus from Venezuela. And anyway, we practiced, and I was so happy. And they were like very amazing people, like it's not like when you met somebody and you're like, oh, this is a good guy, right? This is a good person. This is amazing person. It's kind of like, wow, and then they start teaching. And I remember kata. When they did the kata demonstration, it was Imani Sensei and Ebihara Sensei, and they did kata demonstration. And this is gonna sound like funny, but sounds like not real, but it was like that. When the first kata, Ippon, so Ebihara Sensei went to Hidari Jodan, and then Imanishi Sensei went to Migi Jodan. And they changed their faces. Because before it was like, oh, this is very funny and laughing and kind of like very teaching way of, I don't know. Yeah, the Metsuke was something different. When they start doing kata, it becomes like they were gonna fight with real swords, and it was Bokken, it was wooden sword. But for me, it was like it was a real, and I was scared. I was like, wow, something's gonna happen, Any mistake, they're gonna, and I was so surprised about that kata. Most people practice Kendo and they don't like kata. They don't like to do kata. So, oh, this again. But then that day I was like, I really want to do kata. That was funny. And I really like to do kata. I like kata. I practice kata maybe 4 times a week. So I don't know how many people practice kata 4 times a week, but anyway.
So that was an amazing start. Like you first had to find a sensei in Venezuela coming over, and then you invited a couple of American senseis, like really good ones to demonstrate. So that's a great example for you. But at the same time, you're still one of the only ones that are doing it in Colombia. So how did you make it? How did you develop without access? And this was still early in the 2000s, so internet wasn't as easy, like not as good as it is now.
From people from that time, there's still a few people from that time. I think one guy from Bogota, Leonardo, he's a sensei over there. Me. I think from that time, that's it. Oh, I got one of my students. He's from that time too, and he's living in United States. But then there's nobody else from that time practicing. I mean, sometimes Patricia, the one who sent the message to Imanishi Sensei that time, she sometimes show up, but she's not training like training. But so what one thing happens when 2003 that they came, and then 2004, I think I went to the United States, and I stayed to study English. I went to Louisville, Kentucky, so there's no Kendo there. And I was trying to practice, but by myself, and it was, like same. I'm not gonna do any progress if I do practice myself. I need a sensei, and so I decided to go New York, and I went to New York after classes, the English classes, and I moved to New York for I don't know, maybe 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I'm not sure. I went there to the Ken Zen Institute. So we had a sensei. He was there, and so I want to practice. I want to practice Kendo here, and I started practicing with them. I met so many sensei. One senpai. Here, one of the questions here is about senpai. You asked me about senpai. So I like this one because I didn't know anybody. I was so scared, and I was studying English in the United States, but I was so scared to speaking, and I'll be never good studying English or Japanese or anything. I'm just, I'm very curious about it. I mean, I try to study, but I'm really bad. I'm really bad about that. I'm like, bad student. But then, anyway, I was there. I was scared, and it was nobody who speaks Spanish. Nobody. So I was in New York. The Colombian community in New York is super big. You go Queens, and there's a lot of people speaking Spanish. I was in Manhattan, and at the Japanese dojo, where everybody were either Japanese or Korean, maybe a couple Americans, but then everybody is Asian or no Latin American practicing Kendo in Manhattan, New York, right? So I was the only one there. I was so scared practicing, and I think it was promotion exam. I think people from Boston came. It was kind of cold. I had, I had to be there. I think Sensei went to Japan, so I was by myself pretty much. But when I was there first time, so Sensei said you can stay at the dojo, and I was ready to be at the dojo. And this guy came. I didn't know anybody, so just one guy came, big black guy came to me. And then it's like, it's winter. You're gonna be freezing at the dojo, so you cannot sleep here. So I didn't say anything. I don't know what to say. This is so I cannot pay for a hotel. I got no money to spend in the hotel, and I think I'm okay here. I'm not gonna die. And then he's like, you maybe gonna be freezing when we come back. We come back for practice, and so he started talking to the sensei, and sensei, I got an extra room in my home, so he can stay there. And I remember I was there, they're talking, but I don't know what to do. And sensei say, I did my part. He can stay here. I gave him the key, so he can do whatever he wants. And then he's like, oh, but sensei, there's no heat here, so it's gonna, there's gonna be a problem. And then he just decided for me. He took my luggage and he said, like, we're leaving. We're going to my place. And I was like, what was your name again? So because they didn't even ask me about it or introduce, I introduced myself to the dojo people, but they didn't introduce. There's a lot of people, so they're not gonna start doing each one. So I just realized he was kind of the senpai of the dojo. So he looks like very experienced guy. So but I didn't know. And then we start walking, but just follow him. So like if Sensei trusts him, I'll trust him. This only about trust. So I was like, okay, whatever, let's go. Sensei say, senpai say, I'll do it, whatever. I start walking with this guy, still didn't know his name. And we start walking through the subway. And then he said, by the way, my name is Ali. I was like, okay, cool. I'm Esteban. And then we started walking and we went to his place and I didn't know what to do. And he's like, oh, here's the bed. You can sleep here. Here's the bathroom, everything. And he said something. I was like, what? He said, I'm never here. At the morning I go to work and I have breakfast, lunch, dinner up there. And then I go to the dojo. So that's it. That's the key. So he said, tomorrow we go to my work. I have an extra key over there. So you go with me and I give you the key and you go back home. I'm like, okay. So I still, that time I was thinking, I'm Colombian. Pretty much when I was in Louisville, Kentucky, you say, I'm Colombian, and they run away. So I got this kind of fight. These guys want to fight at the gas station. And they were asking for light for smoking. And I didn't have any light. So the guy was like, oh, you have to have one. I was like, I don't have one. And the guy kind of like want to fight, came to me, and then he said, sorry about this word, you can edit this part. It's a Mexican. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not Mexican, I'm Colombian. And the guy just ran away. I don't know about the Colombian community in Louisville, Kentucky, but they were maybe scary. But I just say I'm Colombian. And he goes, oh, Colombian, oh no, and he ran away. And so I was in New York, and I was thinking, I'm Colombian. And then this guy just gave me the key of his house, and just he told me, this is your home because I'm never here. So I was thinking about many things, cultural things, because I grew up in a dangerous moment of my city, and nobody trusts anybody. Even now, it's hard to trust anybody. It's hard to trust. And so I was like, okay, what can I do? What can I do here? So his name is Alec Milton, by the way. And then he's very kind, something else for me at that time. I never had a senpai before. And this senpai just did the best job. So I was like, okay, I had to do something. So I tried to prepare breakfast or something for him every time. So he thought maybe he doesn't need to go to work without breakfast. And I was trying to do something for him, and then because he was doing a lot for me. So that was my first experience at the Ken Zen Dojo, New York. Practice was good, but this experience it was more than what I expect. It was more like, oh, this martial art or this dojo really helps people, and I want to help people too. And so when I went back to Colombia, I gotta be in charge of the dojo. Some stuff happens over that time, and then it happens I have to run the dojo. And then Hector Sensei say, you can do it. And I was like, how come I can't do it? I don't know Kendo. I don't know teaching. I don't know about management. I mean, I'm at the business school, but just start. And I don't know about anything, and he was like, you'll be fine. Like, you didn't listen what I just said, you know. I don't know Kendo. I don't know. I don't know teaching. I don't know anything. So, oh yeah, yeah. I know that, but you'll be fine. Like, okay, what? How come? So I gotta study a lot, a lot. I did a lot of study, and I didn't know what to teach. And he's like, teach what you know. I was like, I don't know anything. So, you know. And it was funny that time. That was the hard part. Um, it was a lot of people listening to me that time. I was like, every time I told everybody, I don't know. I'm doing this because Sensei say, not because I can do it or I want to do it or because I'm good at this. It's because he say, and that's it. So if I do something wrong, just you know, be patient. um, and I think they were happy with that because there was a lot of people training over there that time. So after that, so I tried to do. We went to the Pan American Kendo Championship. First time I participate for a Colombia team. That's like a international championship. It was some people training, so they people from Ecuador and let's see they invite people to practice. So Leonardo went a couple events, and but in Medellin I was there, and it was Mauricio also practicing, and then we went to Pan American Championship. We practiced there, and then the first time we were not full team, 4 people only for teams match. So we were losing one, and we did the best we could do, like just do it. And we didn't know about team match. We asked the Peruvian captain of the team, like, okay, if we are 4 and everybody else is 5, how should we, like what is the strategy for this? And then he's like, okay, do this, and it works. Now we got 3rd place. And that was funny. I mean, that was really funny because we didn't know anything about championships. We just went there, and we tried to win whatever, And then when we got to the to fight for the 3rd place, it was, we didn't know. We took the ball. We were like resting, like I think we lost. We don't know. We don't know anything. And then the guy from the organization came like, hey guys, you were the next. You passed. And we were like, what? Are you serious? And he's like, yeah. Look, you're the next team. You go against, I think it was against Venezuela. So, and we tried to do everything, put everything there. I think Venezuela won, and we got the 3rd place. They passed the next round, and then my sensei came and was like, I didn't know you can do that. And I was like, I didn't know either, and
well, the question is, how did the Peruvian team do? Because you got strategy from them. Did they at least get 2nd or 1st?
I'm not sure what position they got, but yeah, I'm not sure. I think Mexico won, or I'm not sure the last result, but I got my first medal. I'll check and send you the results. But that was 2005. That's 2005. And then over there at the meeting, they want to do Caribbean and Central American Kendo Championship. And I didn't went to the meeting, but one of my friends went to the meeting, and then say like, maybe we can do it in Medellin. And when he told me, I was like, what? Why do you say that? We don't have anything to do that. And he's like, okay, I don't know. We gotta do something. And I'm one of those person that if you say something, you like make sure you can do it. I mean, sometimes we do say like yes to everybody, and then we have to disappoint people. So I gotta learn that, but then we need to do that, right? We just say we can do it, and even if we cannot do it now, we have like kind of time to do it, because that was 2005, and the next World Kendo Championship was 2006. So it was no event for Latin American in 2006. So this Caribbean and Central American Championship will be held in the 2007. So we weren't ready that time, but we have like 1 year to be ready. And I was at the business school, so that needs to work for something. I was like, I don't know what semester, like sixth semester, maybe, I don't know, second year of university, or maybe third year, I don't know. But then that happened, and I was like, man, what are we gonna do? And the guy from Bogota was saying like, cancel. I was like, hey, man, we say something. We cannot cancel. We have to cancel before saying we're gonna do it. But once you say you're gonna do it, you have to do it. And we did it. We did it 2000. I talked to many sensei, and then we put bodyguards to everybody. 2006, I think, Imanishi sensei came. I'm not sure. And we put bodyguards, and I got a drive. I drove the car. I was the driver. And then it was funny to drive with bodyguards because you don't need to stop any stoplight. That was funny. That was something. And then he can tell you about that history. So year 2007, they start coming. Many people from many countries. I think about 14 countries around. Many people from Japan and from everywhere. And then we were putting bodyguard to everybody. And it was a lot of police. I think police everywhere to secure everything. And Jaica. Jaica is the Japanese International Cooperation Agency. We asked them to come, and they say we have a limitation for Colombia, for Medellin, because not safe. It's declared not safe, and we cannot guarantee the security of the Japanese people over there. And so I just say to the embassy, Japanese embassy, I said like, I'm gonna guarantee that like nothing's gonna happen to any Japanese who comes here. And there's like, okay, so Jaica didn't come, but many Japanese came, and many people, and there was all security everywhere. So after that, we proved to the mayor and the government that Medellin can be safe for international visitors. And after that, Jaica released the restriction. So we not yet. We have no Kendo sensei yet from Jaica, but then people from Jaica started coming. So they went. It was from chemical engineering professor from Japan start coming to the universities to teach. So that was opening of Medellin is not that terrible violent city anymore. So I give them city tour for everywhere. I show everything. So they were so happy, and they want to come again.
That is
So
amazing. You're amazing. That is so awesome that you're able to do something like that, keep that promise, and also make such a huge change. It's like I just really want to make this comment right now because we talk about how much martial arts and Budo is supposed to be how we build our own character so we can help society. But in this case, this is a real life example of demonstrating that a city that was considered one of the most dangerous in the world can be safe for international visitors. Like that is so amazing. So great works on that.
I think, for Kendo people, Kendo community is like a super big family. We got problems too, but still family. And for us, I with no experience to do an international Kendo championship, just participating once, you know, and there was, the sensei were there, and Velasquez sensei, he organized the Pan American, and Benavides sensei organized another event in Ecuador, and then Hector sensei there, and the other senseis from Brazil, Tamaki sensei came, and they were like, you probably don't know, but we can help. And I was like, okay, you know. I remember the day before, the night before the championship, I didn't know how to do the board for the championship. So some sensei was like, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is okay, organize this. So we worked whole night with all the sensei, everybody working, my family working, and my aunt and working, and everybody, from every country. It was, I think, a guy from England was traveling, and he didn't know, but he was like, "Oh, there's a championship here," and then he called the phone number, and I answered, like, "Oh man, I'm from England. I'm traveling. I practice Kendo, so I'm not gonna participate, but you guys need help." And I was like, "What? Yes, we need help." So he came over my home, and he started helping for the championship, the key for the championship. So I realized I don't need to know everything, but I need to know people. So I need to be surrounded of good people, and I think Kendo have that. There's a lot of good people around, and that helps. It was we work hard. Mauricio and me were like, we were fighting all the time. Wow, we need to do this. Why you didn't do it? Wow, but you need to do that. You didn't do it. Yeah, right. So that was crazy moments, and I think we learned a lot, a lot, and to be able to do that, and just like you say, to help people, and they help the Medellin city, because before that, it was, for my experience in Louisville, Kentucky, uh, Colombians are drug dealers, for people outside. And but he was one guy. I remember this guy. I like this guy a lot. He was from somewhere Middle East, Middle East guy. And then I was at the swimming pool, and then he said, "Oh, you're from Colombia?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Oh, I know the most famous Colombian." And I was like, "Okay, here we go again." And then he said, "Pablo." I was like, this is Escobar, man. And then he's like, "Pablo Moroya." And I was like, "Who's that?" Who's Pablo Moroya? And it happens. This guy was super fan of F1 car racing, and all type of racing cars. And then he was like, "Pablo Moroya." I was like, "Pablo Montoya." And then he was like, "Yeah, the Colombian driver. He's amazing." And I was like, okay, through sports, I started thinking, through sports, through practice, cultural practice, we can change the image of Colombia. And I was like, I had to do all in my hands to do that. And we're still doing it. We're still trying. And but this guy, talking about Juan Pablo Montoya, the car driver, he was something for me. I was like, okay. And after that, he said, also know Shakira, but then this is another history. But then that was 2007, and then we start doing like seriously. And Ebihara Sensei, in 2003, he said like we can be part of Ken Zen, and then now we represent something more than individual person practicing Kendo. We represent institution who teach Kendo and Japanese culture in New York, and now and also in Venezuela, and then now in Colombia. So I was like, I had to go through, right? Kind of quick. And so that happened, but university was hard for me because I have to teach, I have to practice, and I was doing organizing seminars, organizing championships, organizing a lot. So it's not like you can go full to the school, and people start saying like, oh, but what is your priority? And one of the questions you asked me in this before, I was thinking about that, priorities. And everybody is asking about my priorities. In that time, I was like, I have no priorities. And even now, I think same. I think everything is a priority. You just need to organize. So some things can wait, but it doesn't mean it's not a priority. It's just something that can be done after this. And so like a school is a priority. It's like, I'm not gonna quit school, I'm just gonna take longer, right? Maybe too long for some people. So it took me like 7 years to graduate from the business school. But then I graduate, I've done 2 championships, international championship seminars. And I remember, and at the Pan American, I met Ariga Sensei, and I met his manager, Kobe. And in 2008, I was about to do the how you call that? I mean, it's like practice for business school practice. So I gotta go to the company and work there, right? So I was at the Caribbean Championship in Venezuela, 2008, and I realized the manager didn't show up. The Ibogu manager didn't show up. So it was Mayuko-san over there. I asked her, well, "Where's Kobe?" And I said, "Oh, he quit. He got his own company, so he gotta quit this one." And so, who's the manager now? And Ariga Sensei is doing everything. I was like, oh, maybe I can go there and work. So, I was there for the championship. But then I was there for the championship. We did good job again. That experience of championship was good. I managed to win over that time one of the strongest in Venezuela. So everybody was like, wow. That was my first kind of like very hard fight. It was an Encho, like maybe we did Encho, like very long Encho. I don't know, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't know how many minutes, but it was pretty long. And then I lost against a Japanese visitor who went there he was from Ken Zen Institute too. But then he beat me. And doing Encho too. So I did 2 very long Encho that time. So it was fun. Anyway, I asked Ariga Sensei to do the practice at his company. And he said, okay, I don't know how to do that. So just send me the papers and we'll see what happens. So after that, I went to California, and I worked for him, did an internship over there. So I learned a lot. I was so happy, it's not like I don't like teaching, but when I was a kid, I'll say I will never be a teacher. I will never be a professor. If I have a student like me, nah. So it happens, one thing happened and the other, and then here I am. But then when I went there, I got chance to practice a lot. So after work, I was working, practice. No friends, so it was no distraction. But then girlfriend was in Colombia, and then for Kendo, I think girlfriends are hard. Kendo is hard for girlfriends. And if you are a Kendo baka like me, like you want to practice a lot, training, and then if there's anything, like we were, it's California, and then this is OC, so it's kind of like easy to go Vegas. You can go Las Vegas from there very easy. Like driving, you go driving a few hours, and you're there. So I remember people inviting me to go Vegas. So like, oh, this weekend, maybe we can go Vegas. So everybody want to go Vegas, right? And I was just, I think I got some practice on Saturday, and Ariga Sensei say I should go maybe other practice on Sunday. So nah, I passed. And they put the sign in my desk. It's like Kendo Baka. Because I only want to go practice. I was always, when I go training, I got cold, very sick. I went to the practice. And Ariga Sensei is like, oh, you should go rest, like you're sick. Why are you here? And it's like, I want to practice. And then, but then my girlfriend is like, you never call. I was like, okay, I cannot call you when I'm working because I'm working. And after work, I cannot call you because I'm training. And during the practice, I don't wear my cell phone, And also, this is a company cell phone, so I cannot use it for anything. But we can talk now. It's about that is around midnight. It was 2 hours difference. So for people here were like 10 or something like that. So I don't need to sleep if you want to talk, right? And she's like, oh, I want to talk when you're working. I was like, it's not gonna happen. I want to talk when you're trained. That's not gonna happen. So we broke up. so it didn't work. So Kendo is difficult if you're a Kendo baka. Or if your girlfriend is not inside the dojo, right? Because I have many friends. I always ask this about wife. How to the sensei, because for example, Ariga Sensei's wife, she's amazing, and then he's going late back home, right? And then I'll ask Kojima Sensei from Brazil, same question, and then Tamaki Sensei from Brazil, same question. I do every sensei, and in Brazil, there's many couples inside dojo. Inside the dojo, they're got married and they're like nice. But then I think if you're a sensei, you don't find a wife inside the dojo because they're your students. So you cannot do that. It's not right. It's not right to be sensei and one of your students maybe will fall in love with you, and because you're amazing or whatever. That's not love. That's admiration only, right? And if you abuse of that, that's not right. So I'm not gonna find a girlfriend inside dojo. So I need to find it outside, but I need to find one that is okay with Kendo practice, right? That's hard. It's hard part. I have a girlfriend now, by the way, but then it is hard, and it's hard for her, and I think it's gonna be always hard because when I go trip, for example, when I went to Japan, there's 14 hours different. 1 year, more than 1 year. 1 year of school. I have to practice, and I'm a Kendo baka, right? So I'm not gonna practice until Bugatsu ends. I'm gonna stay there longer.
So actually, I do. That's a story that maybe we can carry on at another time, because I'm afraid that we're at the. I have to get my daughter to sleep.
Yeah.
So yeah, please find a time that works for you to follow up on this.
Sure.
Yeah, because this is an amazing story. It resonates with me a lot too, because of what you have to go through. Like I agree with the same what you were talking about. Like you don't have to do a lot. You just need to be able to find people, bring them together, and get the work done. When I was organizing an event here in Canada too, my wife and I were doing it together, and we got into a lot of arguments. So people don't realize that. Like you see a team organizing stuff, but all the struggles is between like people too.
I always tell the team, we're gonna argue, we're gonna fight, we're gonna complain, we're gonna hate each other maybe for a while.
Yeah.
But we have a goal, and we have to do it. And after that, we can talk. During the event, no time for argue. And so I am kind of person like that. Like I say, like, you can hate me now, but do it. And then we talk about it later. And it's hard. It's hard to do it. And there's a lot of stress. Everybody needs to understand there's a lot of stress. And you're probably gonna say something that you don't want to say, and you probably thought about it. Maybe it's not right to say that, but just say it. And if I heard something like that, like, oh, Esteban, you're an idiot, or you cannot do anything well, I was like, okay, so what can I do, right? After I can hit you if you need to, right? But we need to do this, and that's very hard. Outside, everybody's like, "Oh, that was a perfect event," right?
Yeah.
Nobody
knows.
I
needed this advice. I wish I wish I had you telling me this like 5 years ago, so didn't have to go through that kind of thing. But realizing now, yeah, actually, even now after I've gone through that, what you just said was so clarifying for me that I'm gonna be using that advice from now on. To really call that out in front, so people know, people have that expectation. And then, yeah, cool. I can't wait for the next one. So please.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Yeah, I'll check the calendar.
Awesome. So, have a good night, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night.